Scaling your law firm doesn't have to be difficult. It's all about mastering a few key strategies, systems, and mindsets. Welcome to the Scalable Law podcast, where we talk about how you can increase profit in your pocket and time in your calendar. My name is Carolee Fontanelli, and I have successfully scaled my firm so that it doesn't solely rely on me. Now I love teaching other law firm owners how to do the same. Let's transform your business starting now. Welcome to another episode of the Scalable Law podcast. Today is autumn. It is absolutely beautiful outside. It still has not cooled down in Queensland. Very, very hot. So I hope wherever you are tuning in from, you are doing really well. Well, as you know, there are a lot of things happening in the world at the moment. And as a result of that, I'm hearing more and more people that are running their law firms and running teams where their team members are coming and asking them for a pay rise. Everyone right now is concerned and worried about the future and what is going to be happening next with the war and our supplies. And as you can see, things are already starting to go up as we are limited on fuel and things like that. So where does that leave us as law firm owners when our team are coming to us, asking us for pay rises? They are wanting to secure their future, but what about our future in terms of running the firm? So there's a lot of things to be thinking about right now, and it is scary. So what do you do when your team member asks for a pay rise and you already feel stretched? That's what the podcast today is about. So I hope that this one is going to be super helpful. In this episode, we are going to unpack the situation that many law firm owners are experiencing, but we really talk about it openly. Honestly, it is so stressful when this happens. I ran my law firm for many years when this was the case. So the reason I'm raising this at the moment is because of everything that's happening in the world. And in Scalable Law, we are seeing a lot more law firm owners coming to us with this question. And in our group today, someone reached out and asked this very thing, specifically about their conveyancer. So it doesn't matter whether it is your conveyancer or whether it is a lawyer in your firm. We're going to be talking about what happens when a producer comes and asks you for a pay rise. Right now, everyone's feeling the pinch with what's happening in the future, and sometimes cash flow might feel tight. The team may already be under pressure, and personally, there may be a lot going on in your own lives as well, not just the fact that you're running a law firm, which is enough, right? So we're seeing this pattern, and it's not just about the pay rise. What it's actually about is the structure, the expectations, and leadership when it's under pressure. So we're going to focus today on how to approach these conversations and in a way that's measured, structured, and grounded in performance. This is so, so important. My personal experience is that sometimes when you're feeling that you're under pressure as a law firm owner, and then you have your team coming and asking for a pay rise, it can really feel like they're coming at you. And there's, expectations that you're going to be providing, and it can feel very heavy. It feels a little bit like you're a mummy bird in a nest and you've got all these little babies that you need to be feeding, and you just don't have any spare food to give them. They're tweeting at you, tweet, give me something, give me some more, give me some more. And as a parent, we know what that's like. But as a law firm owner, that is just compounded even more. Many times this has happened to me over the years, and it's totally stressed me out until I've worked out a system in which you can really run the business in a much safer way and a less risky way. And that's by putting structure in place. So we're going to talk about that. So running your law firm means balancing out a whole lot of multiplying and competing pressures all at once. When a team member requests a pay rise, it really can trigger financial stress and uncertainty, and that's definitely happening right now in the world. Concerns about fairness across the whole team. If I give them a pay rise, then I might have to give those ones a pay rise. They might talk that they got a pay rise, and then it's going to be even worse. There can be frustration if the performance doesn't align with the expectations. So they're wanting a pay rise, but they're really not performing. And maybe it is that you don't really know if they're performing or not. So the question today in our group was how do I know if they're performing or not? So I'm going to cover that off. And also fear of setting a precedent for others. And also, how can I afford this? What about me? I've got to still feed my family and pay all of these bills. And in smaller firms, I really do believe that this pressure is amplified. One decision can impact the entire dynamic of the team. So this is why these conversations often feel really emotional rather than strategic. And that's really what we want to change today. So the real issue here is lack of structure. It's not actually the pay rise. So let me say that again. The real issue is lack of structure, not the pay rise. In most cases, the stress is not caused by the pay rise itself or the pay rise request itself. It's caused by the absence of clear role expectations, defined performance metrics, structured salary frameworks, and objective review processes. So without this conversation, it becomes subjective and difficult to navigate. Instead of discussing performance, the focus shifts to emotion, comparison, and pressure. And as a law firm owner, it can feel really stressful and heavy. In the particular question that I got today, it was about a conveyancer, but you've got to understand that conveyancers are revenue producers exactly the same as lawyers, and they're not just support staff. So they are producers within the firm, and this means that their role should be measured in terms of output and contribution to the revenue, just like lawyers. Your lawyers' roles should definitely also be measured in terms of output and contribution to revenue. So what we need to do is we need to set realistic billing targets. So the way that we do this is to make sure that you know what your daily target is for your team members. This does not matter whether you are fixed fee or whether you are bill by the hour still. No matter how you bill in your firm, each producer needs to have a fixed daily rate. That's the expectation and the target that they are to meet. So with a fixed fee target, like conveyancing, for example, or wills and estates, working out what's the expectation of how many they should be able to do in a month. Now, monthly, we are working on around 20 days a month working time. So that can reduce if they are working less hours. So working out how many days a week is this producer working, how many days a month is this producer working, how many days a year is this producer working. So on a standard year, it is 220 days per year. So that is the full year minus your holidays, minus your stat days, minus your sick days, and minus your weekends. Just trying to think about what that last one was. Minus your weekends. We're not working weekends. So we are measuring the daily target based on 220 days, and that's adjusted depending on, if they're full-time or part-time. Now, with conveyancing, for example, or any fixed fee matter, then how many of those things, let's call them widgets or products, can they produce per month? So with conveyancing, in my experience, a good conveyancer should be able to produce 20 matters a month. They should be able to settle 20 matters a month. So their daily target, it's really easy with conveyancing, and other areas as well that are fixed fee, wills and estates, leasing, any other type of fixed fee. On migration's another one. How many can they produce a day? And if it's a billable hour that you are working in your practice area, then how many billable hours can they produce a day? And that's where you will find your daily target. So for example, with conveyancing, if your conveyance is $1,800 a day, then your daily target will be $1,800 a day for that producer. That should absolutely be achievable, provided that you have enough work coming in the door. If you are, for example, a family lawyer and not on fixed fee, then you need to work out your daily target based on how many hours of production a day. So in my firm, we were doing 5 hours a day at the hourly rate of that lawyer. So say it's $500 an hour by 5 a day, then your daily rate's going to be $2,500. So we've got that sorted. What is the daily rate? Because you want to be able to have a conversation about the targets, what they are meeting or not meeting, and talk about salary based on those facts. So let's talk about building a salary framework that works so that you can have these conversations much more easily and doesn't stress you out so much. Also, this creates a fair platform for everyone in the law firm. Salary discussions shouldn't happen in isolation. So it shouldn't be that someone comes to you and says, I want a pay rise, and then you're just talking about that. There's a lot of things that you need to be talking about. You should be sitting within a broader framework that includes position descriptions so that every role is clear and the description outlines the responsibilities of the role, the expected outputs of the role, and the key performance indicators. What this does is it ensures alignment between the firm and the team member. The firm has expectations, and the team member knows how they are to meet those expectations. The framework should also include a performance-based target. So salary progression should be linked to billing or production targets, efficiency around turnaround times. This is so important because this is about your reputation and service and clients being happy, and also contribution to team outcomes. So the more junior someone is, the more reliant they are, but as they become more senior, how are they contributing to the team? Are they mentoring? Are they supervising? Are they leading anybody? This creates transparency and it removes any subjectivity when you're having conversations around salary increases. Next up, you should definitely also implement structured reviews. So instead of reacting to a pay rise, implement a regular review cycle. This allows both parties to assess performance objectively, identify areas of improvement, and also discuss future progression. Everyone who is working in a law firm, for the most part, want progression. They want to know how they can get to their next level of their career. So make sure that you build progression into your law firm, and have discussions around it when you're having these structured reviews. This shifts the conversation from demand to development, which is so important. Now, with all of these things, performance-based targets, structured reviews, and position descriptions, if you're in the accelerator program, these are the types of things that we provide for you so that you don't have to reinvent the wheel. It's all there for you in what we call the vault, so that you receive all of this and you don't have to spend lots of time. It saves you lots of stress and lots of hours developing your own. You just implement ours. We know that they're tested and that they work. You pop these structures into your law firm and things get a whole lot easier. So managing if one gets a pay rise, what will everyone else want as well? So that's a real concern. So how do we manage that? This is definitely a genuine concern, and the solution is not to avoid pay rises. What the solution is that we have clear benchmarks for everyone's role in the law firm. We have salary increases that are tied to performance, and decisions that are consistent and documented. And hopefully as well, you have a structured salary review period each year or twice a year. We used to do this once a year. It didn't mean you were getting a salary increase. What it did mean, though, is that we were going to review your position, the expectations, so your position description, your role, your performance, and have conversations around those things. And then we would consider a pay rise and if it was warranted or not. So when the structure is in place, the team members in your firm understand that increases are earned and they're not automatic. So what to do when performance doesn't match expectations? Now, sometimes the challenge is not the request, but it's really that the performance of your team member isn't justifying a pay increase. So in these situations, we need to avoid immediate decisions. And we need to bring the conversation back to expectations. So it's really important that you send them out a review sheet and that they have the opportunity of going through the review sheet, answering all the questions, and you have the opportunity to do the same. This means that you can have a really great conversation about it, setting the time aside and spending time with that team member, reviewing their role, what the expectations are, and whether or not they're meeting them or not. We can also use data and metrics where possible as well. So making sure that you've got the targets, what have they been doing in the past, what's the performance, what have they contributed to the law firm in terms of revenue in the last 6 or 12 months and what that looks like. Just because they're real busy and stressed does not mean that they are actually meeting their targets or that they are actually performing. Sometimes stressed lawyers or producers in your law firm may not be meeting targets at all, but they are so busy that they feel like they deserve a pay rise, but it might not work for the law firm. And then we need to set up next best steps for improvement. So in these reviews, make sure that you're setting clear expectations. I'm not going to give you a pay rise this time, or I will give you a pay rise this much this time. But to get to the next level, this is what I expect from you. So setting up those clear next steps for them. So this keeps the conversation constructive rather than confrontational, and it just makes it so much easier when you set it up this way. So let's talk about how to turn a difficult conversation into a positive outcome. Handled well, these situations can lead to improved clarity for the firm and the team member, stronger alignment within the firm, better performance outcomes, and increased trust and professionalism. This is your opportunity as a law firm leader to really step up into that leadership role that you have got. Handled poorly, it's not good. It could lead to resentment, disengagement, maybe the team member leaving, or team culture issues. This is not a good outcome, so we want to avoid this. The difference lies really in the preparation and the structure of which you're setting up for. We need to remove emotion and gut feel around all of this, and we need to pad it up with structure, systems, and processes. Running a law firm's not just about legal work. As you know, it involves leadership, decision-making, and managing people in really challenging moments like these ones. Pay rise conversations are part of that responsibility. What I'm really encouraging law firm owners to do is to move away from reactive decisions and putting out fires and being stressed, and moving towards structured systems that supports both the business and the team. This makes your life a whole lot easier. It makes managing the law firm a whole lot easier, and it helps you retain your team members as well. These conversations don't have to feel overwhelming. With the right frameworks in place, they really can become clear, productive, and even positive. So that's what I want your takeaway to be today. If this has been a really helpful podcast and you would love to have a growth call with us, to discuss these types of things, we offer a free growth call. This month, we are onboarding about 5 new people into Accelerator, which I'm super excited about. And there are a couple of spots left in March. So if you'd like to have a conversation with us, jump on a call. It's absolutely free. We determine whether or not you're a good fit. You can determine whether you're a good fit as well. And then we go from there. So it would be great to have a conversation with you about the challenges in your law firm and how we can help you become more structured, less stressed, have more freedom and profit in your law firm. Well, I hope you are all good today, and I look forward to you tuning in next week. Bye for now. Thank you for listening to the Scalable Law podcast, brought to you by the Scalable Business Lounge. If you would love to know how you can get more clients without relying on referrals, head over to scalablelaw.com to watch my free masterclass. Until next time, you have got this.